Well, hello again. Today we're going to look at this Criterion 4K Blu-ray release of Nicholas Roeg's Don't Look Now, a film starring Julie Christie and Donald Sutherland, set in England and mostly in Venice, Italy, and what a wonderful film this is. It's a movie that becomes highly regarded, especially amongst many of the directing titans. Martin Scorsese has referenced it in films such as Shutter Island. Ari Aster cites it as a inspiration for his film Hereditary. It's a movie that's definitely garnered a lot of praise over the years, and is generally regarded as one of the, sort of quintessential films from, England that is just leaving an indelible imprint on pretty much everyone who's watched it. So, filmed, I believe, 72, 73, released. And again, it's a film that really looks at the sort of existential dread and the harm that, really sort of catastrophic grief can cause a family, especially, a married couple that goes through just a terrible tragedy that's set up in the first 5 minutes of the movie. And I would argue that opening sequence is some of the best that I've ever seen in terms of just a really well thought out juxtaposition of clips, edits, sounds, sights. It's just a remarkable, it's a masterclass in how to edit a film. Some have said that the film is like a ribbon of dreams, and this movie definitely takes on sort of that quality. It almost feels a little bit Lynchian, dare I say. But basically it's, again, this married couple who have two children that appear to be, 7, 8, 9 years old, and a boy and a girl. And the girl unexpectedly drowns in their back pond. And, obviously the mother and father are just devastated. And, you fast forward approximately a year later, and the married couple is now in Venice, Italy. The Donald Sutherland character, who's the father, he is apparently some sort of architectural restoration guru who's been brought in to restore some old church in Venice. And he's brought his wife with him, and you learn in the very beginning there, when they're in Italy, that their son was sent off to boarding school. So they're trying to sort of pick up the pieces, sort of restore their marriage and their relationship, while Sutherland's character is also trying to restore this old church. So there's definitely a lot of symbolism in the film, especially the use of the color red and the qualities of water. They go through this horrific tragedy where their daughter drowns accidentally, and then, they end up in Venice, which is just surrounded by water. So the film is heavily on the symbolism, leans heavily on that rather, and just as a remarkable case study in just grief and the anguish that it can, take on, the people who are dealing with it. It's just I wouldn't say it's a horror movie per se, but it's an existential dread horror film. And the mood, atmosphere, and I would argue even just the directions that it takes are very fresh and original. You really never quite know what's going to happen next, which I find always to be a real pleasure. As many movies as I have seen, few actually do keep me guessing like this one did. So the Criterion release, it is just terrific. It's one of their best 4K restorations in my opinion. I believe Studio Canal actually did the restoration on this, but in any case, this 4K Blu-ray release by Criterion is using that transfer, and it looks stunning. The colors in particular really pop. And then there's a bevy of special features that really delve into the sort of filming of the movie and the history behind it. And Nicholas Roeg in particular, such an interesting filmmaker. He, of course, directed Walkabout, and also did The Man Who Fell to Earth with David Bowie. But I would argue that certainly Walkabout and Don't Look Now are two masterpieces in cinema, and absolutely shelf-worthy films. Both, incidentally, are Criterion releases. So I don't really have too much else to report. This has a nice little, pamphlet that comes with, and some reversible still photos from the film in the slipcase, or the disc cover is what I want to say. It doesn't actually come with a slipcase. And right now Criterion is running a 50% off sale at Barnes & Noble, and I believe it's also on Amazon. So this is a steal for 25 bucks. So that's basically all I have today. I will just make one final comment. This is a movie I hadn't seen before. It was a blind buy, and it was definitely lived up to its reputation. I think in particular, Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie both just have such great chemistry together, and they really showcase just their terrific command of the craft. And there's almost like a documentarian feel to their relationship. There's a much ballyhooed sex scene in the film that, while maybe is a little much, the way they shot it and the way it was sort of captured on film, I think is very convincing. And I could totally understand why apparently Warren Beatty, who at the time was dating Julie Christie, was not pleased when he saw the film and he saw just how authentic that sex scene was. I find it interesting because, of course, Warren Beatty was, notorious for basically having relationships with all of his female co-stars. So it seems a little hypocritical. But certainly the relationship between the two leads, the character, the chemistry between the two, rather, is it's really evident, and I think it really helps the film as well. So on that note, I'll just leave it at that. Please do take care out there, everyone. Stay safe, be kind, and by all means, keep watching great cinema like Don't Look Now.